All indication shows me that if there's a lockout, if there's any injuries major to him, it's going to take him out.
Yeah, very few people have the ability to say, hey, you know what, it's my fault, it's my bad, I was wrong. Because like I said, you got so many people kissing you got so many people on the payroll who are kissing you.
Lack of discipline, putting on weight, getting to 300 pounds.
He hasn't shown that he's disciplined enough to take care of himself physically.
I got in shape for $2 million. The money these guys are making today, I'd be damn near anorexic for $35, $40 million a year.
They're making 50, 60, Chuck.
I know. They'd be like, we got to get Charles to eat. He's anorexic.
As I'm sure you guys know, when it comes to Zion Williamson, the debates, conversations around him really have ever to do with basketball and his on-the-court play as an NBA player. As a lot of the Zion debates at this point, they're just asking the simple question, what is wrong with Zion Williamson?
No idea.
At this point for Zion, he's been given every excuse, every caveat, and really every pass by fans, the media, as well as the Pelicans organization. And I have a very strong feeling if this guy played in New York, LA, or Boston, the media would hound him 24/7. And honestly, it might be good for him. Because down in New Orleans, nobody really cares if the Pelicans succeed, fail, or really do anything. If Zion plays, it's great. He doesn't, the NBA moves on.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
And looking at his so-called return to action in the new year, how this year started out for Zion Williamson was pretty simple and par for the course. To start January, missed 3 straight games, he was hurt, injured, okay. Now Zion plays 1 game with Minnesota, plays pretty well. The next game, a back-to-back, a DNP does not play, because Zion, of course, can't be bothered to play back-to-backs. Now their next game in Philadelphia, Zion Williamson, suspended by the team for missing the flight and being late for team activities. Their next game versus Boston, finally he plays, and plays pretty bad. Next game versus the Bulls, he does play. Then versus Dallas is a DNP inactive because of quote-unquote competition conditioning.
Somebody bring me a Diet Coke!
Since Zion's so-called return to the NBA, he's played a total of 3 games and also missed 3 games. And that right there sums up who Zion is. He plays 1 game, he'll miss 1 game. Plays 2 games, he'll miss 2, and so on to the end of the season. And why Zion's so frustrating, so just irritating, this guy has tons of talent potential to be an all-time great NBA legend. I see it, you see it, any basketball fan with an IQ above 25 can see Zion Williamson has phenomenal potential to be a great player down the line. But unfortunately for him, he's his own worst enemy.
I don't know how much longer he's going to be on the court. I mean, I think that the organization has bent over backwards to maintain some professionalism to the fact that this kid is not even on the court. He's not even working to be a professional basketball player.
So Scotty right there with the rare interviewer appearance. In this interview, I mean, dropping gems left and right. And the biggest point Scotty made is the Pelicans, the GM, the coach, the entire organization has bent over backwards for Zion. And look at their head coach, Willie Green. By all accounts, this guy is a player's coach, a nice guy, and sometimes a little bit too nice. But looking at Zion's recent suspension, I mean, even for Willie Green, a really nice dude, it had gone too far. And this suspension wasn't just Zion missing 1 flight here, 1 flight there. This is a prolonged problem that had gone on for years now. I can guarantee you guys there's tons of stories, anecdotes from players, coaches of Zion Williamson being late, just not engaged, and really checked out mentally. As even someone like JJ Redick, who's very player friendly, absolutely killed Zion Williamson 2 years ago for being disengaged and a bad teammate.
This is a pattern of behavior with Zion that we are seeing again and again. And look, I was his teammate. I can describe him as a detached teammate. That is an accurate statement.
Now look, for an NBA superstar, they have an immense burden, immense pressure every night and season. But kind of the lowest bar, lowest requirement of a superstar player, really any player in general, is showing up on time, being available, and at least being courteous to your teammates. By all accounts, Zion Williamson is none of the above. At some point, Zion Williamson has to look himself in the mirror and say, I'm the problem. Because ownership, the fans, the media, like Scottie Pippen said, they bent over backwards to make every excuse for this guy year in and year out. And I think what Zion Williamson desperately needs is a veteran presence he respects and really has to kind of follow their lead. And look at a fellow power forward big man who's a high flyer. You have someone like Charles Barkley for that veteran leadership that changed his career.
Biggest influence in my basketball career has been Moses Malone. And I pulled Moses aside, and I said, Moses, why am I not getting to play? And Moses, you know, he's really brutal. He said, you fat and you lazy, young fellow. You fat and you lazy. I'm like, oh, I'm fat and I'm lazy.
If Zion had a Dr. J and Moses Malone, I guarantee none of these shenanigans nonsense will be going on in his 6th NBA season. And look, for an NBA coach nowadays, yes, you respect them, they're in charge, they have that label as the coach. But let's be honest, these players nowadays making boatloads of money, I mean, what the coach says matters, but doesn't really carry that much weight. A lot of these guys around their players are walking on eggshells, not trying to be too critical, call them out, or really ruffle any feathers. At the root of the problem for Zion Williamson, I think it's that. The Pelicans have been too friendly, too lenient, and really given this guy too many excuses. If he had a Dr. J or Moses, this nonsense would stop on day one.
All indication shows me that if there's a lockout, if there's any injuries major to him, it's going to take him out.
If there's a lockout, it's going to take him out because what? Lack of discipline, putting on weight, getting to 300 pounds?
He hasn't shown that he's disciplined enough to take care of himself physically yet.
So stopping Scottie right there, he doesn't outright say it, but the player he's kind of referring to is of course Shawn Kemp. And Shawn Kemp back in his prime, an absolute beast, physical force of nature, kind of like Zion Williamson. Now, unfortunately for Shawn Kemp, post-99 lockout, his career took a big-time nosedive in Cleveland as well as Portland. As like a lot of superstar players nowadays, Kemp lacked discipline on and off the court, especially when it came to his weight. As looking at Kemp in Portland, I mean, this dude ballooned to about 270 pounds. And by his time in Orlando, he was a glorified Sean Clump, pushing 300 pounds. If Zion Williamson isn't careful, he's going to end up like Shawn Kemp, becoming Sean Clump.
The kid that went to Duke is the oldest player on their team. Well, he's probably 3 or 4 years older than Zion. So veteran leadership around this kid may help him.
So stopping Scottie once again, this dude, is dead on accurate. As for Zion Williamson, nobody wants him to fail, not succeed, not be a great NBA player. In all honesty, fans are kind of begging for this guy to be that player. And for this guy only being 25 years old right now, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Because of course, not old like Shawn Kemp, but at the same time, you're only 25, you've had that many problems. From here on out, it only gets tougher, only gets worse to maintain your weight and maintain your health.
Who do you think would put him in his place where he would have a level of fear and respect for that person?
Either gonna make him or break him.
Somebody like
but
that.
I like Pat Riley in the Miami Heat organization.
So Scottie right there once again makes an excellent point. The one figure, the one person who kind of saved Zion's career is of course Pat Riley. Because Pat is from the old school, respected, has cachet, championships over various eras. And look, I know some people don't like Pat Riley, he's too authoritarian, kind of rules with an iron fist. But the NBA needs guys like a Pat Riley who have a backbone, have standards, and really don't take BS. In some dream universe, some alternate reality, Zion Williamson gets drafted to the Heat, is a phenomenal player, and maybe an NBA champion. Because of course in Miami, they have a culture built in that transcends eras, transcends players. Because of course Pat Riley kind of is the culture along with Eric Spoelstra. And the BS that goes on New Orleans, other franchises, does not fly in Miami. The entire player-first era, player empowerment era, in some things it's been good, beneficial to the players, the fans, and just the front offices. But in a lot of cases like Zion Williamson, it's actually detrimental and hurts them in the long run. As for someone like Zion, He got paid boatloads of money from day one before playing a single NBA game. And look, I'll put it like this. If you have a coworker or an employee who when they show up to work, they're fantastic, they're great, your best employee, that's a fantastic thing. But if that same employee who's so fantastic starts leaving early, showing up late, taking long vacations, just missing days here and there, and really being a liability, that great employee isn't so great. Zion at this point is that employee. A great talent, fantastic player, but motivation, work ethic, just overall health durability is suspect at best. And right now, he has two paths. The Charles Barkley path, restricting yourself out, becoming a great NBA player, or the Shawn Kemp path. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.